Folks, welcome back to the Presidential Podcast, the #1 show in America, maybe the world. People are calling it the greatest podcast in history, even better than Rogan. And I said, of course it is. Joe Rogan talks to mushrooms. I bring peace to the Middle East. It's a very big difference, tremendous difference. Today we're talking about October 9th, 2025, a day so historic that even CNN had to pretend to smile for 5 minutes. They didn't know what to do. I gave the world peace, and they're still looking for a scandal. Oh no, Trump stopped a war. What do we do now? Probably blame me for low ratings. We've got peace deals, shutdowns, lawsuits, and even a shiny new Trump dollar coin. That's right. I'm on money now, folks. The founding fathers are jealous. So let's get started with the big one. The deal of the century. Again, segment 1, the Gaza peace deal. Blessed are the peacemakers, especially the handsome ones. Historic day, folks. Huge. The Trump administration, that's me in case the fake news forgot, has officially brokered a phase 1 peace agreement between Israel and Hamas. Everyone said it couldn't be done. Obama tried. Biden fell asleep. Jimmy Carter's still painting fences somewhere. And I walked in and said, how about we just make a deal? Boom. They all folded like Biden's teleprompter. Now the plan is simple. Hamas gives back all 48 hostages, living and, some not so living. And Israel gives back about 2,000 prisoners. I call it the art of the exchange. Both sides get something. Nobody gets everything. And Trump gets all the credit. The way it should be. People said, Mr. President, this must have taken months of careful diplomacy. I said, no. It took one Truth Social post and a very handsome negotiator. Marco Rubio handed me a note saying, sir, post fast so we break the news first. Can you believe that? A handwritten note like it's 1993. I said, Marco, this isn't high school, but fine. Posted it. Got 10 million likes. And the deal was born. World leaders are losing their minds. Macron called it extraordinary. Erdogan said I showed great political will. And the United Nations, the worst building in New York, actually praised me. They said, President Trump, you've given the world hope. I said, I've given you rent-free office space for decades. You're welcome. Of course, the Democrats are saying it's all timed before the Nobel Peace Prize announcement. Yeah, because that's called good timing. You don't bake the cake after the birthday party, folks. But they're right about one thing. I will win the Nobel. I brought peace to the Middle East. I stopped wars. I even hugged Kanye once. If that doesn't deserve a Nobel, I don't know what does. Segment 2, the shutdown. Operation Layoffs for Liberty. The government still shut down, folks, and let me tell you, it's beautiful. Everyone's crying, oh no, 750,000 federal workers aren't getting paid. And I said, that's called draining the swamp. You think these people were building roads? No, they were building PowerPoints about feelings. The fake news calls it a crisis. I call it a strategic cleansing. We're using the shutdown to permanently streamline the government, which means less waste, less bureaucracy, and fewer people asking for printer ink. Russ Vought, my budget guy, great guy, strong jawline, little dark energy, but I like it, put out a video of himself as the Grim Reaper cutting federal programs. The media freaked out. They said, this is terrifying. And I said, that's the point. We're even holding back $2.1 billion from Chicago's train project. Why? Because Chicago voted against me. That's called consequences. You can't vote for chaos and then ask for a shiny new subway. That's like inviting raccoon into your house and then complaining about the garbage. Segment 3, the National Guard showdown, law and order or else. And so now we got this lawsuit. Washington, D.C., suing me for sending the National Guard to protect their city. They say it's unconstitutional. I say it's presidential. They're mad I sent troops to stop crime. You'd think they'd be grateful. Half the states did, the red ones, the good ones said Detroit, said, Coach, go Trump, keep the peace. The blue ones said, how dare you defend the Capitol? Folks, we live in a time where protecting citizens is controversial. If George Washington could see this, he'd ride his horse straight to CNN headquarters and demand airtime. And let's be honest, the mayor of D.C. couldn't organize a lemonade stand. I told her, if you can't handle it, I'll handle it for you. Then the lawyers started calling us, sir, there's a lawsuit. I said, perfect, another win coming. Segment 4, the University Compact. Obey or pay full tuition. We're fixing universities, folks. They've gone crazy. All these kids majoring in gendered interpretive dance of capitalism. Useless. So I made a deal. The Compact for Academic Excellence. If schools want big, beautiful federal money, they got to stop attacking conservatives and start teaching real subjects like business or winning. We told them freeze tuition, cap foreign students, stop discriminating against Republicans. The left calls it a Faustian bargain. I call it a really good deal with benefits. Texas already said they'll sign. California's mad. Gavin Newsom said he'll pull $2.8 billion in aid if they do. I said, Gavin, you'll need that money to fix your tent cities. We're making college great again by making it affordable, patriotic, and a little afraid of me. Segment 5, the Trump dollar coin. In gold we trust. This one's incredible. The U.S. Mint is proposing a Trump dollar coin. Finally, they said no living president's ever been on money. I said, that's because no living president ever deserved it. They'll say, this breaks tradition. Folks, so did electricity. And now you all use it. My coin's going to commemorate America's 250th anniversary. And on one side, it's me pumping my fist, very heroic moment after surviving an assassination attempt. I'm like Andrew Jackson meets Rambo. The other side will say, America first again. Because honestly, if Biden had his face on a coin, it would melt from confusion. It's more than currency. It's art. Kids will trade them. Collectors will frame them. And Democrats will cry about authoritarian symbolism. I'll say it's just a coin, but thanks for noticing the leadership. Segment 6, media, lawsuits, and lies. Fake news, real tears. So, the Associated Press sued us because we wouldn't let them into events after they refused to call it the Gulf of Trump. I mean, come on, I give you geography with personality. But they sued, they won. And I said on TV, they lost. Because let's face it, if I say it, half the country believes it, and the other half writes angry op-eds. That's balance, folks. They're calling it an assault on the press. I call it an accountability exercise. Maybe if they wrote nice things, they'd get better seats. And then we've got the pardons. A few critics saying I've been too generous. Look, I pardoned Trevor Milton, the electric truck guy. His trucks didn't move, but his donations sure did. That's called energy transfer. Meanwhile, the FEC, the people who watch campaign money, okay, can't even meet. No quorum. I fired one of them because he was boring. Now they can't enforce anything. It's like spring break for politicians. Segment 7, health and heroics. Perfect score, perfect president. Fake news says Trump looks tired. Folks, I'm 79, but I've got the stamina of a 35-year-old, the hair of a 25-year-old, and the mental sharpness of 10 Bidens combined. I'm going for my checkup at Walter Reed. Routine, they say. The doctors always look shocked. Sir, your heart's incredible. Your reflexes are lightning. Your tan's perfect. I tell them, content, it's all natural. Mostly they said the swelling in my leg was chronic venous something. I said, sounds like a Democratic county. Let's fix it. Segment 8, the India-Pakistan peace claim, tariffs, not tanks. I also brought peace between India and Pakistan in 24 hours. That's what I do. People said, sir, you can't just threaten nuclear powers with tariffs. I said, wait, watch me. I told both sides, if you fight, no trade. Next day, ceasefire, magic. Now India says it never happened. Typical. They're embarrassed. They wanted to look strong, but they know the truth. Trump made the call, and the nukes went to sleep. Believe me, I've ended more wars than the United Nations has catered lunches. Someone said, sir, you've claimed credit for 7 peace deals. I said, and I'm still underrated. Segment 9, closing thoughts. Peace abroad, power at home. So, folks, October 9th, 2025, historic. Peace in the Middle East, chaos in D.C., universities trembling, coins shining, and Democrats crying. They say you can't do it all. I say, watch, I said, see, Brian? They call it peace through strength. I call it peace through Trump. But remember, strength isn't just tanks and tariffs. It's confidence. It's leadership. It's looking in the mirror every morning and saying, that's a Nobel Prize winning face. The world's safer. America's stronger. And the only real crisis is that there's not enough room on the money for my whole name. Until next time, this is your favorite president, past, present, and future, signing off. God bless America. And don't forget, the best peace plan starts with the best podcast.